Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. O Brahman, O the limitless, O the boundless, O the eternity. Let this Atman speak only the words of truth and the words of wisdom. O Brahman, O eternity, O the boundless, O the limitless. Let this Atman speak only the words of truth and the words of wisdom. Only the words of justice, truth, and wisdom. Only the words of liberation. Only the words of liberty, where there is no barrier on the thought, where this Atman does not concern itself from other people's point of view, where this Atman does not concern itself from the image built in the society, where this Atman does not concern itself to a thought process, where this Atman does not concern itself to the thoughts which limits the very expression of this life, where this Atman does not concern itself with the lies, where this Atman does not concern itself with reoccurring thoughts, the useless thoughts. Let this Atman be so free. Let this Atman be so liberated. And let this Atman be beyond the barriers of psychological drama. Let this Atman be totally free. As you notice today, the angle of my computer screen is a little different than the usual, because life is all about adopting the change. Life is all about adopting new things. So every now and every then we need to do something different and see if the others around us and us too can adopt that way. Today, I have chosen a topic which is not in the response of any inquiry. Today, I have chosen a topic, and the topic is liberation. You see, today I'm sure that time to time in the previous messages and in the previous retreats, we have spoken about liberation, that what is liberation, but we have spoken about liberation in the connection with another significant or major topic. Now, no one has inquired about liberation, but as I said, that I have chosen this topic because I feel this is something that we need to look in more profound way. This is something that we need to look in a more detailed way, that we can elaborate on it a little further. Liberation brings happiness in life. Liberation brings expression up front of the life. Liberation. We live in a country where the individual is free. We live in a country where freedom basically being held very up high. The freedom of individual, you see. But when we look around, of course, here in America, we give and we grant a lot of significance to the freedom, and it's a beautiful thing because freedom is one of the basic birth. You see, freedom is one of the basic birth right of the individual, you see. And it's a beautiful thing. The freedom has gained, the freedom of individual has gained tremendous amount of significance, and it's necessary. Please remember that. Okay. Now, we are going to look what it means to be really free and liberated. You see, a few days back, one of our friend here on Facebook, and that is a nice fella, and he posted something on Facebook, and it reads something like that: freedom is a state of mind. That's what he mentioned on Facebook, and it's a beautiful statement, and I could not agree more with that. Freedom literally is a state of mind where we don't concern ourselves. Freedom or liberation does not mean necessarily that there are certain barriers. You see what I'm saying to you? There are certain barriers, there are certain bands of law, rules, and regulation in every society, not only in just in this society, but in every society there are rules and there are regulations, and those rules and regulation have very good reasons. That's why they are there. The rules and regulation, those rules and regulation, of course, they have significance, and they are, of course, there for a reason. So, liberation or freedom does not mean that one goes, God forbid me, beyond the laws and the rules and regulation which exist in every society. You see, because as I mentioned, that these rules and regulation are there for a reason, and good reasons. Liberation or freedom or individual liberation or individual freedom means something else, which, as I mentioned, the quote from my friend here, that freedom is a state of mind. You see, freedom or liberation does not mean that we are, going around and doing a lot of wacky things. It means that how free you are, or how much freedom or liberation do you have in your mind. You see, That's what it means. It does not indicate or it does not point out that one should just run around and do a lot of wacky things. It's basically starts from within the individual's freedom, the how much a person, how much a being is free. That's what it means to be liberated. Free from what? Free from liberation. One aspect of the liberation is this, you see. If you take a look right now, that's one aspect of the liberation which it means to be totally free. Free is that as long as I am abiding, excuse me, as long as I am abiding by the law, as I mentioned, the law is there for a reason. I have a personal freedom and a personal liberation to how I want to carry myself. You see what I'm saying to you? Liberation means that this person is sitting here and delivering a message. Liberation means this person is sitting here and delivering a message and is in a traditional yogi costume. And when this person goes out, this person does not require a false image to carry in the society. Life, please remember this, okay? It's very significant for you to understand that life, the accumulation of life, or I would say the knots of the distance or the time between the two knots of birth and bodily demise is a very small happening. You see, so since we understand it's a very small happening, we need to make the best out of it, and we need to see that how much we are free and how much we are regulated or we are concerned with other people's point of view. This is what it means to be free mentally, or the state of the being, or the state of the mind. This is really want it to be free. It does not mean that we go around and do a number of wacky things, you see, but it means that we do not concern ourselves as far as other people's opinion. That's liberation. That's the state of the mind which is totally free. That's the state of the mind which expresses itself in a sacred way. You understand? Like, for instance, anywhere I go, for the most part, with the exception of if I am at a workplace. Are you following what I'm saying to you? For example, anywhere I go, with the exception of if I am at a workplace, because at a workplace I have to follow certain parameters too, of course, because it's business that you are working for. I'm not talking about that. It's not that, with the exception of that, when I go out, you understand? Are you following me? When I go out, I don't have to carry a false image. When I go out and I am functioning in the society, on the streets, in a store, or in a supermarket, I don't have to concern personally. I do not have to concern myself with an image, with a false image. You see, that false image is very fragile. It takes a lot of energy from an individual to carry a false image. Are you following me? You remember, do you remember that what I said? It takes a lot of energy to carry a false image. It takes a lot of energy to carry a false image, and that the person who carries a false image is always at the risk the person can be busted. You see, because the image is false. It takes a lot of insecurity, and it creates, unfortunately, in an individual a lot of insecurity. So when I go out and I am functioning in the society, when I go out, when I am in a supermarket, in a convenient store, or walking on the street, of course, as I mentioned not long ago, the sum of the parameters, the moral parameters, everyone has to follow to maintain the law and order in the society. However, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the state of mind when you do not personally concern yourself what others think of you. The reason it's for one is not a very wise or a smart thing to do, to concern yourself that what other would think of you, because it does not matter how good you are, it does not matter the how much you are trying to carry a good image, or you are seeking the approval of others, or you are seeking the acceptance of others. The, every individual would perceive us in the way they are perceiving themselves. Please understand that. That's why it is, please remember that I mention a lot of times that's why it is extremely significant for us to look inwards first, because the way every individual would perceive you in the way they are perceiving themselves. There is no doubt about that. So it does not matter that how much, basically, it has no significance that how much you are concerned with the image of yourself in the society. Because if somebody is feeling extremely happy, feel fulfilled and contented from within, that person would perceive you in absolutely in a pleasant manner. If somebody is feeling, if they are in a contradiction with themselves, if there is a war going on within them, if there is a friction, there is a resistance in them, of course they are dealing with themselves. When they are dealing with themselves, they are preoccupied. There is no way they are going to perceive you in a pleasant manner. You see, that's for one, that's wisdom, as I mentioned, that no matter how hard we try to concern ourselves in the image we have in the society, the image is false. The best image and the best liberation is when we become totally and solely authentic, when there is no hypocrisy in us. You see what you get. You understand, or you understand what I am saying? It goes like this, that you see, basically, this is what you see, this is what you get. There is no hypocrisy. That's liberation. Liberation means that I, according to the Constitution, as far as my individual liberty and freedom, I have the right to care. If I feel, you see, if I feel that I want to express myself in a particular way of life, then I am not concerned psychologically or mentally what other thinks of me. When I go out like this in a traditional yogi or in a traditional Indian dress, which of course sindoor is between my eyes, I am not concerned that somebody is going to call this red dot or red button or panic button. You see what I'm saying to you? I'm not concerned somebody is going to call me any number of derogatory, things. You see, I'm not concerned how they are perceiving me. I'm not concerned if they are making fun of me or they are admiring me. Either way, it makes no difference. That's personal liberty. And that's the liberation from the nasty thoughts which create a fear in you, the nasty thoughts which punish you, basically, the nasty thought, the thoughts they tell you that you are never good enough or what you are doing among all these nice and pleasant people. You don't deserve to be here or you are out of place. You see? So these are the thoughts which try to seize the expression of your life because these thoughts are abusing you. You see, liberation is when you are free from these thoughts. You see, and that can only be achieved when we look into everything that's been told to us. You understand you exist on numerous levels. You are perceiving every second and you are perceiving every minute basically, and all this is being stored in the memory. The memory is limitless and the memory is humongous. If we do not learn to control these memories can seize the very expression of the life we are living. So liberation is when you don't go against yourself. Liberation is when you do not concern yourself with the thoughts they try to abuse you. You see here in America, some wise person or some philosopher said a beautiful thing that demons and devil are very real and they live within us. You understand what that mean is? Demon and devil, let us not go into the religions portray the picture of demons and devil. I'm talking about the thought process, which itself sometime or half of the time acts like demons. So that's the very reason that I have chosen this topic, because this liberation is the most significant thing which is happening in somebody's life. Liberation brings joy in you. Liberation brings freedom in you. Liberation is when you express yourself fully. Liberation is when you communicate in an impeccable manner. Liberation is when you are not driven by nasty thoughts. Then, if you are liberated that much and you have achieved or gained that kind of liberation, then only you would speak love, then only you would speak truth, and the only you would speak wisdom, then only you would speak sacred. You see, if you are liberated. We spent absolutely humongous and tremendous amount, we spent tremendous amount of time concerning ourselves with things they are not going to last forever. You understand? If you look around, this is also liberation. Now check this out. If you look around right now and you negate things that are going to last forever,
You understand what I'm saying? Please follow me what I'm saying to you. If you look around and you minus or subtract the things which are not going to last forever. Forever means eternity. One by one, you would subtract everything. Hypothetically, I'm saying, when you look around, you would subtract everything. Nothing would remain in the end except the one who is subtracting. You understand? Which is yourself. So yourself is not the image you carry. You see, image itself is one of those things because it's not gonna last forever. Ask yourself, the image I carry in the society, is it going to last forever? Hmm? Somebody can say, there were remarkable peoples. They made history. They made their name in the history. Their image is shining on us. Yes, that's correct. Their image is shining, but they are not in the way you know them. As soon as they leave the bodily demise, they have nothing to do with that image. You understand? That's the answer to that. For the argument's sake, if somebody says that. So nothing is forever that it goes to all of us, we can carry except us. Not even the image, not even this body, and not even the prominent thoughts in our mind, not even how much people feel happy in my surrounding, not even how am I seen beautiful or am I seen ugly? How am I seen? How am I doing in the society? You see, all those things. Am I good enough? We try to be, unfortunately, it's all human conditioning and it's all human domestication. We try to be good enough for everybody else. We try, as we grow up, we realize we try to be good enough for our parents. If we grow up, we realize we try to be good enough for our siblings. As we grow up, we realize we try to be good enough for our friends and all the and for our folks and everybody around us in the society. As we grow up, we try to be good enough for the teacher, we try to be good enough for the pastor, for the mullah, or for the rabbi, or for the swami. We try to be good enough for a lot of people, but we are not good enough in us. You see, when we sit alone and when we are by yourself, we think sometimes some thoughts we have some thoughts in our mind that abuse us, and we think it's natural. There is nothing natural about it. When you free yourself from these thoughts, when you take your faith out from these thoughts die. This is nothing but the karma and memory, and most of the memory is garbage anyway. You see, I know it. So when you take your faith out, all you feel very light, like a lot of burden. The more karma you transcend, these negative thoughts have nothing to do with you. I will never be good enough. What am I doing? Am I doing good in education? Am I doing good in making money? These are just some abstract things. You see, even a buck can make a living. Any A lot of people are capable of getting good education and stuffs like that. That's but human have learned, unfortunately, to concern themselves so much that this becomes their life. You see what I'm saying to you? That is these are only two, three things which become your life, and it's a life which is going in a circle. It is going in a circle and it would just keep going and going, you see, and they would never realize that life basically has not even started. Life does not start here, life does not end here. When we are here in this body and in this mind, I personally believe we should experience life in every way one can experience. You see, we should not be concerned about things, they are so fragile. Image in the society, finances, job, addictions, traveling, physical pleasures. These things, when you are fully involved life, when you are not attached to these things, you would perform all the activities of life, but you would be totally free and totally liberated. You would not be banned. You see the word banned? You would not be banned with this. You see, you would not be. You would be totally and absolutely free. This is what it means to be free. You see, this is what it means to be liberated. Now, here in the healthy society or anywhere in the world, as I mentioned earlier, that the liberty of an individual is very significant and it's a beautiful thing. However, it's also an individual responsibility to liberate and free themselves in the mind. As I said, that one of our friend here on Facebook posted, the freedom or the liberation is the state of mind. It's very true. How much we are free in our mind. If we concern ourselves, people take 3 4 hours, people spend tons of time by making themselves presentable. You don't have to take ton of time by making yourself presentable for somebody else. You see what I'm saying to you? It's not necessary. You look in the mirror and you accept. And you look in the mirror, and if you like that what you see and that is good enough, you accept yourself, you like what you see. People go through with a lot of conflicts in their mind. If this doesn't look good in front of other people's eyes, how would I be accepted? When people go through with a lot of thought process before they speak, because they want to be socially accepted in the society. They want to be seen in the society in the acceptable manner. You see, they don't want to be seen in the society as awkward or weird. You see, these and they don't, and they do, they pretend. That is a life of pretending, that we pretend a lot just in order to be accepted. We pretend a lot just in order to be good enough only for others. You see, it's when you accept yourself fully, when you accept yourself fully and completely, I accept myself, this is what I am. And when you are prompt, or the only, what the word I'm looking for in English, the only motivation, yes, that's the word, the only motivation within you is the motivation that what you like or dislike, but not what she likes or he likes or what they like. No, what you like. It's all about you. You see, then you would free yourself from a lot of things in which our awareness, in which our focus and our faith has been invested for a long period of time. The more we transcend ourselves, from all these traits, the more freedom we achieve, the more freedom, the more liberty we achieve in our mind. That's liberation. Liberation is when you transcend yourself with the bands that you were once banded with different type of things, that you think that once you think these things can control you. It also encompasses different type of addictions, you see. And human just works on memory, because the only, and it just keep going and going. You have the memory of a pleasant, different type of addictions, you have a memory of it, and then you act on the memory, you see. But the real being must have a chance to act without the influence of memory, you understand, without the influence of memory. When a person transcends himself or herself from all these things, when it means the person sheds the karma. When the person is not led by the memory, the person is very, very close to moksha, or what we understand as ultimate liberation. Ultimate liberation does not mean that now you are out of the cycle of birth. Ultimate liberation does not mean that now you are out of the cycle of birth and the bodily demise. Ultimate liberation means that now you have an option. You have the liberty and the freedom. If you want to volunteer yourself, you can go ahead and take a form out of sympathy and out of compassion towards this world. You see, but you have totally transcended yourself in every manner. You have gained the ultimate liberation. The other name of for that is end of delusion, end of three-dimensional experience. Now basically what's happening is you have broken the bands of every type of karma, and you are free from it. Now you have the option whether you can whether you can go ahead and you can take a form out of compassion, out of sympathy, when you see other people are suffering, to bring some awareness, to bring some clarity in their lives. You see, the more awareness and the more awareness is what everybody is. Self awareness or awareness or consciousness. You remember, we talked about that a lot. Awareness, self awareness, or consciousness is what everybody is. You see, but you bring clarity in their awareness. And each time the human sees a little more clear, the more clear you are capable, the more clear you are capable of seeing, the less suffering there would be in your life. I have, with the devotion to my practice, with the devotion to have no doubt in myself, and totally scared or free. It does not happen in one night time. It does not happen in 1 minute. It does not happen in 1 second, but it is very, very, very possible. You understand? That's what it means to be liberated. And then it means to be absolutely and completely liberated, which means the end of delusion. You see? So ponder on it, what I said. What the definition I gave you, that we spend a lot of time only concerning ourselves um, with other point of view. You see, that's the um, I'm zeroing, I'm zeroing in, or I'm summing in, basically, that this is what we do. We spend so much time concerning ourselves, that how am I seen in the society, and what kind of image I'm carrying in the society. You see? but we never pay attention that it is so fragile that no matter how much amount of energy we put towards it, one day is gonna go. The only thing which remains in the end is I, or the same I in you. That remains in the end. Everything, of course, would come to an end. So it's only wise and only smart to invest in that I. Perfect timings. Time for the meditation session.